Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is George, I'm 19 years old and I've just started my YouTube journey through financial advice and investing. I do put a lot of effort into the production of my channel, so before this video does start, please smash that like button and press subscribe so you don't miss any future content. Now that's a good investment. Now, if you have watched my previous two videos, you would notice I've had a little setup change. This is because it was very awkward recording when my phone was on my windowsill. It didn't really fit on there very well and it just wasn't easy. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about the best advice I could give to beginner aka noob investors. Don't worry if you fit into this category, everybody has to start somewhere. What I'm going to be speaking about might also need to be heard by current investors, as I might show a different perspective on how you view your portfolio. With all that being said, let's get into it. For legal reasons, this video is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a licensed financial advisor, so if you do seek professional help, you will have to look elsewhere. With that out of the way, let's get into my first tip for beginner investors, and this is probably the biggest one. Invest for the long term. If you're a day trader looking for quick cash in hand payments from a volatile 50% increase penny stock, click off this video right now. The best way to grow your portfolio, and this goes out to everybody, is to think at least 6 to 12 months in the future. A lot of people seem to underestimate long-term growth, especially young investors, and as my target audience at the moment is people around my age group, it's a very good point to put out there. Getting into the routine of depositing money into your account every month and distributing it between stocks requires discipline, but it's very important going forward. Every stock has its red days over the course of the financial year, so you'd be very lucky to catch the perfect moment to buy in. Even Tesla has its dips. However, the current state of the market leaves uncertainty on that buy button at the moment, as Wall Street Bets continues its rampage with shorted stocks such as GME, AMC, BlackBerry and Nokia. I would like to say that investing actions like this in the market are not normal at all. I did speak about this in more detail in my previous video if you wish to hear more about the subject. Investing for the long term not only puts you in a healthy routine, but it's far less stressful. If you set yourself a goal to hold a stock for a couple of months, there shouldn't be any urge to open your phone and check it every 5 minutes. It's almost the same as locking a certain amount of money away in a safe and forgetting about it entirely. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, what if the stock I bought into dips and I don't know about it? No need to worry. You can always set price alerts for a stop loss on your brokerage app. This way, you'll be notified when a stock hits a certain share price at your choice. This can also be done for a take profit alert. Closely related to and equally important as tip number 1, we have tip number 2. Emotionally detach yourself from your investments. Remind yourself, all you're looking at are numbers on a screen. They do not have feelings, nor do they care if you lose every penny. Go with your gut feeling. If you don't have intentions of holding long term in a particular stock and you're up a lot of money, sell. Take the money as it is and be proud of the profit you've made. Same principle applies for cutting losses. You don't want to regret it in the future. You can't let your emotions get the better of you at 2:30 every day. If you're intending on investing for the rest of your life, this is probably one of the most important things to know. It will take a bit of time, but get used to seeing big fluctuations in your money. I've been investing properly for around 9 months now, and it's only been in the past 2 months where I've really overcome the emotional factor of investing. I'm used to watching my money jump up a couple £100 when the market opens and have a little bit of a dip afterwards. And do you want to know what face I pull? Emotional investing can lead to stupid decisions which go against your long-term strategy. So during the pre-market hours, always remind yourself of the goal you had when you started. Tip number 3. Don't rush into buying into a stock, also known as FOMO. The acronym FOMO stands for fear of missing out. Just because you've read one good article about a stock doesn't mean you have to buy into it straight away. The article could have misinformation or might not be accurate enough. If you've got your eye on a stock which is overly performing in the market at the moment, try and wait for a red day. As I mentioned previously, every stock has their red days. On that note, it is impossible to time the market. Remember, time in the market over timing the market. Now for this tip, I'm going to show you a perfect example of where I got caught in the fear of missing out. As you can see on the screen right now, back on the 20th of November 2020, I put £3,500 into a stock called Electromechanica, ticket symbol SOLO. At the time I thought this was a good investment because previously they'd had very good days on the run up, but like I said before, I got caught in the fear of missing out. What you're looking at now is an amazingly annotated graph of Solo's performance. You can see on the screen my average price, and that is the green dotted line at $10.95. And on the left hand side, you can see underlined in black, that is my current return. Yes, that is negative 1,100. The green arrows on the left hand side show very bullish movements in the run up of Solo. It started on the 12th of November when they were only at $3.86 a share, and within 1 week they escalated all the way up to $14.38 a share, and that has been their all-time high. And if you bought in at $3.86 a share, you would have gained a 372% return if you sold at the peak. That's 3.7 times your money. So if you put in £100, that would then turn into £370, or 372 to be precise. And this period was ridiculous. Solo was a newly discovered stock and it got caught in the hype train of EV back in November. This is when NIO, Tesla, XPeng and a lot of other Chinese EV manufacturers started gaining a lot of attention. All of this hype and attention led prices to soar in the EV market, with very little bearish action. Now for those of you who don't know, bullish action is when price is being driven up and pulled up by people that are buying into the stock and encouraging it, and bearish action is the opposite, people wanting to drive down the price. They are referred to as the bulls and the bears. My average price at $10.95 is where I bought in, just underneath the tip of the final green arrow on the screen. Now at this point, the previous days of Electromechanica had seen 30% increases back to back to back, which is unprecedented. Looking back at it, it's very obvious that they were going to have a red day, and they did. Shortly after my buy order, they had a massive pullback, and they've stayed low since then. The two black lines you see are the resistant lines. Slowly but surely it has moved up in recent times, moving into 2021. Yes, I am still holding in this stock because I'm not going to sell at a loss, am I? And plus, I do believe that it has growth potential for the future. But after it does reach my average price, or it gets to a loss which I'm comfortable of taking, I am going to be selling. The main reason I bought into Electromechanica is mainly because they were one of the cheapest EV companies to buy into when all the hype was going on. I didn't really look into the fundamentals behind the company. They have got some good statistics and I do see them being a potential EV player for the future, but for the short term and for my portfolio, I'm not really intending on holding them long term. Therefore, I will be selling when I do feel comfortable. Hopefully they do go up over the next year. They have been given some decent price targets of around $16 a share over the next 12 months. So if I do hold, I will make a profit, but I do want my money elsewhere. So yeah, there you have it, a perfect example of getting caught in the fear of missing out. From the patterns I've seen in the market over the past year, any stock that has a run up in the short term is going to have a little bit of a sell off, and that's exactly what I got caught in. Unfortunately, they haven't risen up to my average price just yet, but I'm not bothered. Remember, you don't lose your money until you sell. Advice tip number 4. Don't base your investment decisions based off other people. If you do this and the stock plummets, doing exactly the opposite of what they said it was going to do, you're going to hold them accountable. Number 1, that is not fair. they do not tell you to buy into the stock. Well, I say that, in some cases people do persuade others, but I'll get onto it in a second. And number 2, that is all your fault. What you're essentially doing is giving your money to them and let them do what they want with it. Watch out for people that heavily promote certain stocks over social media. This is a hype method similar to the GameStop scenario, where a certain stock is encouraged to be bought so much the price is driven up because of the increased demand. This is very commonly used to favour their own investments in the stock, as they will then sell at a profit to favour their own self-interest. If you have seen this happen before, pay close attention to the lack of social media coverage those stocks get after they plummet. Another example to add to this tip is your friends. Just because your mate, your mum, your dog bought into a stock doesn't mean you have to. Just because you trust them doesn't mean they've done the right research, if not any research at all, to ensure a good buying opportunity to hold for the future. This transitions lovely into the final bit of advice, which is to do your research. Ah yes, I've never said that before. No, but in all seriousness, take your time to look about into the different sectors and stocks that you could buy into. There is only one person that is held accountable for the return of your portfolio, and that is you. The companies you decide to buy into are all dependent on how much risk you're willing to take. My fellow YouTuber and companion Ben has just dropped, or is about to drop, a video on the best stocks to buy for investors. These are low growth stocks such as the S&P 500. You know, I'm not going to say the rest of them just in case he hasn't released a video yet. But yeah, these are all low growth stocks to hold for the long term, which you can slowly add to, that aren't very volatile and are very safe to hold for the future. These are the type of stocks you buy into and hold for a year, and they'd have a guaranteed percentage increase no matter what point you bought into. That is ensuring there's not another stock market crash like 2020. On the other hand, if you do like more volatile, high growth stocks in the short term, which can also be beneficial in the long term, for example, NEO, it is more essential you do more research into the company's financials. Every public limited company on Trading 212 and the other brokerages has to release a financial statement 4 times a year. These financial statements, also known as quarterly statements, are quite a big catalyst for demand. For example, NEO's earnings had an increase of 21.7% from the second to the third quarter of last year. Stats like this are very good indicators to buy for the future, and for all other investors, it gives, you know, a positive vibe. Positive vibes only this year. And there we have it. Those are the best 5 tips I could give to beginner investors. Just remember, I am not a professional, I'm only sharing from experience. But if I'm being honest, I wish I knew all of these tips when I started, because I would have acted a lot differently with some of my investments. If you have made it to this point in the video, please smash that like button and press subscribe if you haven't already. It's a little way of giving back to me, and like I said at the start, it's the best investment you can make. Make sure you check out the Bundled channel and Ben Bassam's channel, both links in the description. I'll see you in a bit.